Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and this video is going to be responding to a PayPal supporter submitted topic, a first impressions video of the first episode of an anime series that this person recommended to me some time ago now, probably about a year ago, I think they said in their message. And I didn't know whether or not I should mention the person by screen name or whatever in this video, so I'm going to forgo that. But they can let me know in the comments for future reference if that's a problem or not. Some people don't want their name, username, or real name put out there, and even with the username, I just want to tread lightly just in case they didn't want to be mentioned. But in any case, as you can see by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about the first episode of the anime. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Hyouge Mono. And again, this was one that this person recommended to me some time ago. I do remember actually watching the first episode back at that time, and I just got carried away with a lot of the concurrent anime seasons and series that I was watching each, subsequent season. So I never actually went back to it. But before doing this video, I went ahead and checked out episode 1 of Hyouge Mono again, and refamiliarized myself with the fact that I actually really enjoyed it when I first watched it. I remembered it pretty well, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I love the sort of tongue-in-cheekness, if you will, of some of the more comedic elements. There are some moments of intensity in the first episode. That's the way they're played. It has to be that they're playing it for comedy, and sort of tongue-in-cheekness, as I say, because it gave me a couple of laughs when there were these really, intense, grueling moments, and you're probably not supposed to laugh. I mean, if you're in the character's position, laughing is the last thing you want to do. But it struck me as funny. All surrounding, it's kind of a historical anime, and it's much akin to things like Onihei, which I think might have been what brought up the comparison, the recommendation originally. I think it might have been around the time that I was watching and covering in episodic reviews the anime Onihei. And as well as in the summer 2018 season, the series that's airing as of the time of this recording right now, Angle Moi Genko Kasenki, another historical anime. But there are liberties that are taken. These are works of fiction, after all. And it's mostly surrounding this character of Sasuke, who is an aesthete, or an aesthete, He is very much somebody with a scrutinizing artistic eye. And he works pretty much as a field runner messenger for Oda Nobunaga. And the whole first episode revolves around the fact that there is this sort of, rival warlord who is supposed to be one of Nobunaga's tried and true fastest friends. But in his old age, he's getting ornery, and he's challenging Nobunaga and doing things for his own well-being and suiting himself. And it's going against Nobunaga's wishes, as sort of the supreme leader of all, the god incarnate, as he considers himself, So he, for all intents and purposes, enlists Sasuke as the aesthete to go and talk to, also being a field messenger, to go and talk to this rival warlord and offer him amends for the turning over of this, artistically crafted, metalwork tea kettle. And it's weird how they describe it as, the handle almost appears as though a spider crawling on the ground or something. It's kind of like a little clasp, on the top of the tea kettle. And it's something that is miraculous to Sasuke when he goes, along with, Nobunaga's forces. And I think his little brother or something leads the actual, force of warriors, in this case of soldiers. But it is Sasuke who goes in and actually confronts this rival warlord face to face. And as this rival warlord is kind of laying down his opinions about Nobunaga and the fact that Nobunaga seems to be a little too forgiving, and is he going to forgive me forever no matter what I do? Is he ever going to have enough? Enough is enough, kind of thing. The whole time, this guy is waxing philosophical about Nobunaga and why he has struck out against him. Sasuke doesn't hear any of it. He's completely blindsided by the fact that this tea kettle is sitting just offset behind the rival warlord, and he is just in hog heaven, seeing this thing, witnessing this thing's existence with his own eyes, because of his being an aesthete, you know, being so appreciative of artistry and craftsmanship. And so he doesn't hear any of it, and this gets up the ire of the warlord, who tries to snap him too, you know, and he almost kind of sort of suggests to Sasuke, you know, at some point in the future, you're going to need to take into consideration whether or not you want to blindly follow your warlord, or maybe consider turning over to your warlord's rivals. You know, like, hey, maybe I'll give you a little bit of tea out of this handsome tea kettle if you consider coming over to my side, kind of thing. At least that's the impression I got from this first episode, from the dialogue in this scene. But then this is all shortly interrupted thereafter by, you know, Nobunaga's little brother, or his chief soldier, whatever it is, you know, and their forces, and they tell Sasuke to basically get the hell out of Dodge, and they're going to deal with this warlord. And so everything culminates with this warlord strapping the tea kettle to his stomach after filling it presumably with gunpowder, or being forced to. You know, I think they give him like an ultimatum, like, you know, either you take your own life as a sacrificial act to save your people, or we're going to kill all your people and yourself as well. And so he opts to do that, but he gets in that last sort of jab to Nobunaga by destroying, effectively, you know, creating this powder keg out of the very tea kettle Nobunaga wanted, you know, as an amends. And so you have Sasuke watching this in sheer utter horror. Forget the life of the warlord, you know. It's this tea kettle. And so when the thing explodes, the top goes flying like a frisbee, and you have Sasuke running through all the crowd of soldiers who are all gaping and mawing and guffawing in shock and surprise at what this rival warlord just did, blow himself up effectively. Sasuke just barely manages to grab onto the top of this tea kettle in midair, but it burns his hand and it goes flying out of his hand. And later, you know, once everything is all said and done and all the soldiers have returned back to Nobunaga's compound, the chief Simeon, as Nobunaga relates him, you know, his little brother, or the leader of his forces, whatever it is, he proffers this supposed poem of, you know, resignation by the rival warlord, supposedly penned by the rival warlord, but that's not the case at all. We find out that this little, you know, Simeon, as Nobunaga refers to him, penned it himself, trying to gain some sort of respectability from Nobunaga, his master, his lord and master. And in answer to which, everyone is kind of stymied by the fact that here comes Sasuke, and he has gone after all of the little shards of the top of this, you know, ages-old, artistically crafted tea kettle. He's you know, not yet put them all back together. It's just shards on this little, you know, towel that he unravels before Nobunaga, and he offers it to Nobunaga, you know, as sort of a recompense for the failure, as he perceives it, of the whole affair. This gives Nobunaga one hell of a psychotic fit of laughter, and he's like, you know what? Because you're the only person who really, you know, you are the aesthete, you are the one with the eye, the artistic eye, because you've done me well here, I'm going to let you have the pieces. You can have it. It's yours. Because at this point, it's worthless to Nobunaga. He doesn't appreciate even the remnants of this thing. And so we follow with Sasuke back in his, like, little dorm or whatever it is, and he's very painstakingly put it all back together, all the puzzle pieces back together as best he could. And he's admiring it and admiring it, and he's realizing it's not the same after all. It's a junk pile, you know, it's a piece of crap. And we kind of end on this precarious cliffhanger for the end of the first episode, where Nobunaga has enlisted these craftsmen and stuff like that to build one hell of a giant warship. And I mean, this thing looks like it's got the Empire State Building on top of what is normally a schooner, you know, a wooden sailing vessel. And so one of like, you know, the shop owners or something in the crowd is overheard muttering something about, yeah, if we all had gold of some equivalency to Nobunaga, maybe we could all live so high on the hog. And Nobunaga dispatches him immediately, because this guy, when Nobunaga confronts him, he dials it back. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, my lord, I didn't mean to speak out of turn. And so for Nobunaga, the whole point of it is, don't recoil, speak your truth and own up to it. You know, even if you know you're going to die in the next breath, be a man of honor, be a man with backbone, speak your truth and mean it, and ride it to the end, you know. And so he immediately darts back to Sasuke, and he challenges Sasuke right in that moment, which is grander in design, in scope, this war vessel, you know, this warship, or that tea kettle. It's the first time in this episode where the intensity isn't almost comical. It actually gave me pause, and they linger on it, and Sasuke doesn't, you know, answer right away. He's like formulating how he's going to answer to Nobunaga. And he tells the truth as he sees it. He's like, from my perspective, both this warship and that tea kettle are on equal footing as far as grandeur goes, splendor goes. And they just sort of end with that thought hanging in the air. I mean, obviously Sasuke's not going to die. He's the main character of the series, you know. But they kind of cut it off in a cliffhanger, like you're not sure what Nobunaga's response is going to be. These two men are just staring each other down, and Nobunaga has his sword drawn after having just dispatched the shop owner. And so just the whole affair, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thoroughly had a blast watching it. And I'm only sorry that I hadn't found a way to sneak it in every week. You know, I thought about it, because it is a 39 episode length series. That is probably one of the chief reasons why I didn't keep up with it, because, you know, I figured marathoning it all in one fell swoop is not going to be possible. And it hadn't occurred to me at the time when this was first recommended to me that I could perchance, you know, sneak in an episode or two every couple of days, or whatever day of the week I have the least amount of concurrent anime to watch, so I could actually go through the entirety of it. And that is something I am considering doing in the here and now, depending on how the concurrent season goes, because I'm watching like 30 different weekly series, and Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the days I have the least to watch, between 1 and 2 episodes on either of those days. And those are also the days I'll play catch up with anything that I just haven't gotten around to from the previous week. So this might be something, you know, that I consider watching one of those 2 days a week, and just slowly take my time watching it in my free time, because it is a highly enjoyable, you know, first episode to me. And if that is giving any sort of impressions as to what the series on whole is going to be, the style, the pacing, the humor, and the intensity, and the whole historical backdrop and everything like that, if that's giving a hint to what the rest of the series embodies, I'm definitely on board for wanting to watch it to its, you know, fruition. And I can only thank the user in question who recommended it to me originally, and then brought it up again with his PayPal support, you know, contribution. It's definitely something I do want to complete at some point. I have a whole backlog of things that I do want to get to, and that I have had requested of me to check out and such like that. And plus, with all the offline stuff that I'm dealing with, it's just a matter of, do I have the time? But I am going to try to make time to watch this, because it was thoroughly enjoyable in its first episode. And it's at this point in the video I'd like to remind you, the viewer, that you too can make a contribution to my YouTube efforts through the PayPal donate button URL link that will be in the description of this video, as well as the comments. Much as this person did to recommend me Hyouge Mono, you know, you are free to choose how you want to do that. The way the PayPal thing is set up, it's kind of akin to Patreon, where you can do it on a one-time basis, you can do it on a monthly basis, and you can include a notation, much as this person did to make the recommendation of Hyouge Mono, to either recommend me other things, wish me well, you know, bring up other topics that I might talk about in future videos, and just let me know as part of the notation if you want to be named, you know, in the video, subsequent to that will, you know, bring up your topic if you so choose to submit one. But yeah, it's a very easy thing. You can click the link and it gives you the options, and you can support my channel if you so see fit. And so yeah, otherwise that'll be pretty much it for me in this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.